Today I'm going to teach you about a protocol that started because I wanted to help my mom reverse type 2 diabetes. This is many, many years ago, and every year since then, I would do the protocol myself. I look at all the research each year and to see what's changed. And then I would integrate that into the protocol. Then I would go through it. Then I have a group of clients go through it. And then we would tally up the results. What were the trends? What would we notice? How can we make it a little better? And so over many years, we have created the ultimate fat burning strategy. This is 2.0. And so this month you have access to this. And this is, the name suggests it burns fat, and it obviously does. But more importantly, improves health, metabolic health. Now, this is not something you do forever. This is something you do as a season. So I'll give you some examples. Like you could do this for 1 week, just as a reset. Or you could do it as long as 12 consecutive weeks as a transformation. And it will certainly transform you. There are some really important benefits to this program that most people may not consider. We get so caught up in the outcome of getting lean, building muscle, transforming the body. That's a side effect. What will allow you to transform your body and sustain it and continue to improve for all your years and to add many years to it is self-mastery. When you focus on self-mastery, the side effect is victory. The side effect is health, energy, vitality. The side effect is you have beautiful relationships with your friends, family, the people you love, serve, and appreciate. You can create more value in the world. Your finances get better too. Everything gets better because everything in life is created through our thoughts. Everything that's ever been created was first created in the theater of the mind as an idea, as a thought, as a question. And then we started to hold our focus on it and run it through different scenarios and say, oh, wouldn't it be cool if I just fell in love with training? Wouldn't it be cool if I put a little gym in my extra room? Wouldn't it be awesome if I started running outside? I haven't run since I was a kid. I really enjoy that. Wouldn't it be awesome if I knew how to fuel my body? And then you start to get excited about it and you have these pictures in your mind and they turn into motion pictures, movement, big, bright. And what happens in this moment, you get a feeling tone. And that activates your nervous system. Different parts of your brain lights up. And now this activation, there's an effect. And you've been there before, I'm sure you have. Maybe just not in this area of your life yet, or maybe you have, but maybe you lost focus with it. And so when you have that activation by holding your focus and question and running scenarios, you're painting this portrait in your mind, and it has that feeling tone. Emotions are amplifiers. So if you can imagine something to the point where it excites you, then it will ignite you and light up your brain and nervous system in a way where you become hyper aware of anything that will move you closer to your vision. You'll connect the dots much more easily. And when you are in this state of hyper awareness in a good way, and you're connected dots, you notice patterns. You're like, oh, this really helps. You know what? This doesn't matter. I'm going to get rid of what's not essential, and I'm going to focus on things that actually matter. And then you also get this intuitive sense of guidance where you start to get ideas and say like, you know what? I need to talk to this person. There's something about this. Yeah, this is the right person for the job. Okay, great. And then you start to, then you just stay in that. If you keep your focus on that, it gets bigger and brighter, and you can carry that all the way through until you have breathed life into it and it exists in your world. Now, that is how everything happens. So if you go back to a time where you created something, where you achieved a goal, go back and rewind that. Replay what you did. What was the moment when you decided that this is not only be something I attempt, this is something I'm going to see it through to the very end until it is here. This is the mindset that is required to transform your body, but to transform anything in your life. And this is how it works. But what most people do, what we're all taught to do, is just start exercising, just go on a diet, just start taking action. But we want to take intelligent action. So all we need to transform anything or achieve anything in life are, one, an effective, sustainable strategy, a plan. And that's what we give you in the blueprint. The second thing is you need the mindset, the identity. You need to be the type of person that will carry it through even when you don't feel like it and when it's not easy. Now that's the challenging part because it's a process and every thought counts. And so we want to create alignment between what we want to create, our North Star, and our thoughts, our words, and our deeds. That alignment of what you're focused on, the thoughts you're focused on, the stories you're telling yourself, the words you say out loud, and your actions. That is the name of the game, my friends. And so the first step, I'm going to walk you through the Ultimate Fat Burning Strategy 2.0, but you have the PDF in front of you. You don't even need it. I just wanted to clarify a few things. But don't make this about changing your body. That's the side effect. Make it about the process. To go through this process for this month and refuse to suffer. To utilize your focus, what you say, the spoken word, and your actions to learn to enjoy doing something that's difficult. Because when you command this, when you create alignment of thought, word, and deed, you have an emotional state that makes it feel effortless. Think about it. Was there ever a time you did something that if someone was watching you, like, wow, that must be hard work. I would hate to do that, but you enjoyed it? Think about that. I've had it many times in my life. The old phrase, time flies when you're having fun. But we can learn to enjoy anything to the best of our ability. Some things just aren't meant to be enjoyed, but nothing is supposed to make us suffer. In life, pain is mandatory. You're going to have difficult things, and that pain, those problems, are going to move you into action to improve in some way. That's the purpose of problems. They are opportunities for us to grow. And when we're too comfortable, we don't act. If you had no problems in your life, what would life be? It'd be boring, right? So I'm sharing all this because I want you to be successful. It's important to me. It's important to the world because we're all in this together. But I want you to understand, rather than just giving you the plan, I want you to understand the mindset that's required to be successful, to be victorious, to be triumphant. It's not going to be easy, but it is worth it. But you first need to create this North Star in your mind where you say, what, 12 months from now or a month from now even, whatever it is, how would I know I'm successful 1 month from now? What would have to happen this month? What would need to happen this week? What would need to happen on a daily basis? What are the habits that are going to allow me to transform this part of my life? These are the questions you ask again and again. A big question is, once you get clear on that, you ask, who is the man or the woman who is not only capable of bringing this to life, this vision, this goal, this transformation, but would love to do it, and they can't wait to do it? What does that person believe about life, about themselves, about their body, about problems? What are their most dominant traits and qualities? How do they carry themselves? What are their habits? When you get clear on that, then you have found the part of you that is unstoppable. The part of you that is timeless, that's infinite, that's mighty and powerful, and anything is possible for that part of you. That is what I call the lion or the lioness. That is your soul. That is your spirit. That's the part that never dies. Like, think of the amazing things humans have done. A lot of people like to say about the terrible things, but humans are incredible when we are in alignment with this part of ourselves. And that part is loving in nature. So how do you know if you're in your lion or lioness? Well, we have feelings and emotions. And our emotions are our inner guidance system. The problem is when we were kids, most of us, I know it happened to me and most of the people I ever asked this question, if you weren't happy, what did adults say to you? Hey, why aren't you happy? What's wrong with you? And then you start to develop the belief that I'm supposed to be happy all the time. And if I'm not happy, something's wrong with me. How many people have experienced that? It's innocent. No one did it on purpose. Their parents probably said it to them. And it just keeps getting passed down, passed down. We repeat our mistakes until we don't. And the way you break the chains is you get clear on what you are going to create and who you are going to become. Here's the cool thing. You create your circumstances. Your circumstances do not create you. We are storytelling, goal-achieving creatures. But we first need to write the chapter in advance and get super clear and tell this new story of what this month is going to bring you, what this year is going to bring you and your loved ones. What are you creating? And what that does, you can even hear it in my voice. It changes my feeling tone, my state of being, my emotions. So now when I'm in those states of love-based emotion, that's the lion, that's the lioness. Now that could be courage, that could be determination, that could be love, joy, passion, compassion, gratitude. Any positive emotional state is loving in nature. Love is a creative force. Now the lack of love is what we call fear. Fear doesn't even exist. It's simply a lack of love. And right on the brink of it, you have neutrality, then you have anger. And anger is a high energy emotion. You can redirect it, like as a righteous anger, like you're walking on the street and someone kicks a puppy and you're like, oh, not on my watch, and you intervene, right? That's that righteous anger. But you could also go in anger and start blaming, complaining, and labeling people as evil or demonize, victimize people or yourself. And then it pushes you down into sadness, depression, shame, guilt, apathy, all these things. But there's this scale, this inner guidance system that is our feelings and emotions. They are direct feedback of what we are focused upon, the stories we are telling ourselves again and again and again. So if you're telling yourself a story, you're placing your focus on thoughts that create loving thoughts, that create excitement, joy, passion, courage, determination, gratitude, you know you're on the right track. But if you're in more fear-based emotions, we like to call it stress. It's fear, that's what it is. And so let's just say it what it is, right? And so, but when we're for fear-based emotions, like, oh man, I need to exercise because I just don't like my body, but when I lose this much weight and I can wear this size clothes, then I'm worthy of life's rewards. That's the subconscious mind speaking. That's the lamb mind speaking. The lamb does not think you are enough the way it is, the way you are. You have to do all these things, check all these boxes to be worthy. That's the ego. That's the fear mind. That's the survival mind. And it used to be a great ally when we were kids. Because when we're kids, we have no way to survive. We have to learn how to communicate to get food and shelter and some love, right? But the lion, the lioness, already knows you're enough. There are no mistakes. You have a reason and a purpose. And if we really break it down simply, every human has a similar purpose, a similar mission in life. It is to be their true self, which is loving in nature, to be love in action. I'm not talking about Disney fairy tale romance nonsense. I'm talking about love, the thing that creates life, the thing that creates order in the universe. So that is at your core. That is your essence. So to be love in action and to receive love too. That's part of that equation. Then to learn and grow, we're all here to learn and grow. Not to repeat the same mistakes and patterns. So to be love in action, to learn and grow, to create, give, and serve. To create value in the world by giving your best to yourself and to others. And then I believe there's one more part. To enjoy the ride as best you can. To not suffer. When you're in states of love-based emotion, you can't suffer. But I just want to add that fourth one on to make it super clear. So if you know your purpose in life is to be love in action as best you can, to learn and grow, and to create, give, and serve, and then to not suffer. What does that mean to you? Take a pen to paper. Write it out. And ask yourself these questions, change your thoughts and focus. Allow us to process our emotions. But that first step is have that awareness of noticing your emotions and feelings, your inner guidance system. Then, when you're in negative emotional states, fear-based states, ask, what am I thinking about right now? Like, what am I focused on? What story am I telling about this situation to make me feel this way? Because no one makes you feel anything. You allow things to create those feelings in your body. Now, it's so automated, it's so subconscious, it doesn't feel that way all the time. But aren't there people that you can say anything to and it has no effect on them because they know who they are at their core? The opinions of others doesn't really mean much to them. They'll take them into consideration, like, is that really true? No, that's not true at all. I think they're just upset. They're having a tough day. That's okay. And just love them and let them go. And then, they'll maybe they were hungry, It's usually me. and then they come back and they're fine the next time, right? But if we personalize it, that's where we create suffering too. So make sure you make self-mastery a goal for yourself. And self-mastery is the awareness, the management and command of your thoughts, emotions, and actions. And it all starts with thought. It's what we're focused on. And being aware of that. And then using our feelings and emotions as an inner guidance system so that we can direct our behavior, our actions, and our inactions. So make it a goal. Make it a daily practice to I like to do both. I like to write before I go to sleep, and I'll write about the day. I'll write about the victories, the lessons learned, the things I messed up, but I learned from. And then I'll write about what's going to happen the next day. This is how I'm going to show up tomorrow. This is what I'm going to create tomorrow. This is the people I'm intending to light up tomorrow. So that's what we do. You create things in advance through your intention, and then you place your focus on what you want throughout the day. You notice your feeling tones and your emotional states as inner guidance, as feedback. And then you can shift it or you can stay there, whatever you want. But the key is to become aware of it. And then you direct your actions towards your North Star, what you want to create. So there's certain habits that you're going to need. Like what you eat is going to be a habit. How much fluid you drink, very important. If you're drinking a bottle of wine every night, that's going to affect your health. That's not a great thing, right? And so if you want to get lean, strong, energized, athletic, and have a body that makes you proud, that inspires you, that inspires others, and never lets you down, it all comes from the mind. So everything that's ever been created or achieved first began as a thought, as an idea, as an image in the theater of your mind.
You tap into the real you, but you have to retrain yourself. The way you retrain yourself is you wake your ass up in the morning and you say, I am here for a reason and a purpose. And it's bigger than my moods. It's bigger than the difficulties of the day. I am here to live like a lion, not the fear of a lamb.